George, how
What's
are we?
happening? Doing great.
How amazing is it that Betty White is still alive? Unless she's died recently. That's amazing.
She has not.
That's
She's wonderful.
That's incredible. Incredible. Let's say hello to chat. We had 18 people in here already, which is great. I borrow ideas. Von Stugel, Past Master Dan, Eric Weathers says, come check out the show if you've got nothing better to do. Aerith Saga, good to see him getting around lately. I like what he's putting out there. He's getting involved. I think that's important, George.
Mm-hmm.
Unhinged. Rob's mohawk is my spirit animal. Yes. Eddie Winkler. Scrolling down, there's George. Scrolling down. Mo Biggs, how the chat. I gave you thumbs up, even though it was a thumbs down in my heart. How are you, Leroy?
Hello.
I love the enthusiasm he has every time I ask him that. NTM Comics, good to see you, mate. Joe Sontag, 7:10. It's 9:10 here. It's not time to stream because my daughter goes off to kinder, and it makes it really difficult if I stream on the hour. So I've got to put it back 10 minutes. Scrolling down. Great Sage. All right, chat's going off. Billy Basco's in here. Get over it. Scrolling. Joe Catapano. K Manifesto. Great show with George the other day. K. B Rose is in the house. Jason Black. Ethan's in the house. What's up, Ethan? And Louise. I think that's everyone. I think we've got everyone. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Cool. How are you, Leroy?
I just watched the USA beat Canada.
Oh, I mean, is that really a tough?
Well, we had it's our B team, right? Because our A team's all with their clubs in Europe. So yeah, it's pretty fun. We won.
Oh, beautiful. 1-0.
What's the sport?
Soccer. Gold Cup. Yeah.
Matt Sisko's in the house. Let's just get into it, guys. Let's start off with an easy one. Giveaways. This is something that I've seen people do recently. And what are your thoughts on it? So, for example, giving away, a cyber frog on someone else's campaign as a reward. What do you think about that?
Well, there's different types of giveaways. You did giveaways just for signing up. If you just signed up for your campaign, you gave away art, right?
Yeah, I think that's a great way.
Yeah, like if you're doing it to generate interest, that's one thing. If you're doing it to kind of,
backhand Ethan.
Yeah, I don't like that. that bothers me.
Because I see people going to do the idea of doing that, give away another creator's work on their campaign. Like, is that good form?
No, hold on. Now, Phil Diaz is giving a Shelby Robertson sketch of his character just for signing up. That's giving away something from another creator. I think that's a good thing, right?
That's a good thing. But what about if it's a Shelby Robertson book? What if it's Rage Tality War?
It depends on the relationship between you and Shelby. Like, look, the Cyberfrog thing is a bad example, right? Mm-hmm. But if you and Mike do that, and you're like, "Hey, I'll give away a copy of the Lucent," then what's the problem, right? So,
or what if you're giving away a promo copy of Replicator 4 with Lucent 2?
Oh, jeez. George is going to get excited now.
I'm excited now.
We've talked about that. But say, Ethan's toys, for example. Say I bought 20 toys, right?
Ooh.
And the intention was just to give them away, to people on my channel or people who back my campaign. Is that acceptable? Is the creator going to get pissed off about that?
No, you have to talk to Ethan, not us.
I would say he would not be upset if you bought 20
Well,
toys.
You would ask him. You wouldn't ask us. You would ask the creator, right?
Yeah, because I mean, when it runs around in my head, I'm thinking it's probably not what you'd want to do. Ethan says, "Gee, that would be awful." I don't know if he's being serious or not. I can't.
No, he really wants you to back 20 toys. I'm sure, Rob.
So it's kind of like, do creators care what happens once you've bought the book or the toy or
I have had
whatever?
creators tell me in the past, once they sell the item, whether it's a comic book or original sketch or art, once it's out of their hands, they don't care anymore. That's what they've told me.
It's a good question. George, are you a creator?
Nope.
Am I a creator?
Nope.
Why the hell are you asking us, Rob?
Because you're here, and I just thought of it. So, what about you guys in chat? What do you guys think about that? Is it something that you think is not cool, not a good thing to do? Clint says, and Rob has made fun of my haircut. I cut this myself. Like, as you can probably tell, there's
a notch in there. Yeah.
I think it looks great.
There's a notch.
Put your head back down. George didn't see the notch. Yeah, look, dude.
I don't think it's actually a notch, Leroy. I think it's part of my receding hairline. I think it's going in now.
Oh.
So eventually that'll be gone and I'll just have a tuft like that.
Maybe that'll be a stretch goal.
I Borrow Idea says, you don't need to tell us, Rob. We know. Lewis says, once you buy it, it's yours. That's interesting. It's totally fine. It's your property. You bought it. Give me that publicity. That's interesting. It's okay. Fine. I'm here.
Eric Weathers is here.
Such a nerd, George.
I know.
They buy your product and give you free promotion. What's not to like? Damn it, Rob. Ask the 6 or 7 creators here specifically.
That's right.
Well, I mean, they're here. They can chime in. You know who you are.
They are. You just went through a couple of their replies.
I support the Rob Tuft. Rob Hawk makes it less look like he has an IQ of 65, which is false advertising. That's a great segue. This is why we need Rob Teeth, George.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow, right? All day?
Oh. Are you going to come on a stream for this?
Yeah. I got invited.
Wow. Well, thanks, Ethan. I appreciate that.
This is great. I love Vanessa so much. Now, Ethan, do you love Vanessa or do you love Furious V? I think everyone loves Furious V. That's where we're at.
When she gets pissed off, yeah.
Oh, it's so good. It's like run. Furious V, don't play around. Perth's here as well.
Wait. Is today? It's Rob Teenth right now?
No, tomorrow's Rob Teenth.
Okay.
Tomorrow,
is it the 19th where you're at, Rob?
Yes.
We go by American time.
We go by American time.
Yeah.
But it's still Rob Teenth where he's at.
No, it's Rob Teenth when it's here, not when it's there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If I bought 20 Ghost toys and wanted to give them out, would you be bothered? No, I probably wouldn't actually. Great answer, chat. You've sorted it out in my head. Thank you very much.
It's very complicated. Very, very complicated.
You guys, both of you in particular, and there's lots of fans out there, but you guys put in a lot of work. And I want to know what it's like being a fan for you guys. What do you get out of it, Leroy?
I made lots of cool friends along the way. George is a real good friend of mine. We've never met, but I consider him one of my best friends, actually. So,
thanks,
I've met friends. I've met you, Rob, and we've become friends. There's a couple people in chat. Crackhead, Ethan pointed out Vanessa. I've become friends with them, and it's fun just to hang out. It's like what a comic shop used to be, George, is what Comicsgate chats has turned into be. I feel like. So yeah.
And what about you, George? What do you get out of being a fan?
This is just my hobby, so this is fun, right? So I do a lot of things. One, it's fun. I get to learn a lot of stuff, and you get to promote a hobby that I've loved for close to 40 years. So you see these lulls in time. You see all these stories about comics are dwindling, and then you get a chance to talk to someone like I Borrow Ideas or K Manifesto or Oz Great Sage, and it's fun talking to them about comic books, right? Comic books is a brother and sisterhood. So once you know someone likes them, you can just spend all day talking to them about it. So it's been a lot of fun.
Or sharing, like with somebody like Roquefort, and nobody's seen him and you're sharing him for the first time, and it's very exciting. Like,
yep.
Who is this guy? It's like, this is Kenneth Roquefort, dude. Like, check it out. Like, that's pretty fun too. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'd never seen that double page spread he did in it's Velocity, right?
Mhm.
That is probably one of my favorite double page spreads I've ever seen. I think that was just absolute brilliance. So that was really cool. How did the chat start, Leroy?
Well, believe it or not, I was always mad because Ethan or John or Kelsey, none of those guys were streaming on Saturday night back when I started. And I was talking to George about it. It's like there's never anything going on Saturday night. And I was like, well, there's no fan streams, and I pitched it to somebody else, and they didn't end up doing it. So I just kind of did it. Just fired up a stream and kind of started, and that's how it started. Like, just nobody was streaming on Saturday night. So now that's changed. That's changed. What's that?
Boredom and anger.
That's your comic book origins, Rob, not the chat's origins.
Boredom, not anger.
And how, like, did it start just you, or was there?
No, it was me and Darren Wagner.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow! And then you added over time. You added Crackhead, Vanessa.
Yeah. So
Amanda.
Yeah, right. I wanted to get people from different pockets or corners of CG, so I went over to Frega's channel, and that's where I found Jeremy, because he was pretty vocal in Frega's channel. I was like, hey, let's get you over here. Vanessa's always been vocal on Shane's channel, and then Amanda, I wanted a newer person, so. And then George has an open invite. There's people like Jim Cox and those guys, they could come on whenever they want. But it's kind of a balance. I was looking for a balance of people that like different things. If you notice, Jeremy, Vanessa, Amanda, and I, we hang out in different shows. We have different interests. We have different tastes in books, different tastes in streams. So that's what makes the show good, I would think. If it is good, I don't know.
Hockey says, if I have to be nice to Rob on the 19th, well, it's the 19th. So yeah, for Rob, he's the greatest. I love it.
Oh,
getting an early start.
That's nice.
It's actually my favorite CG show, Leroy. And I'm not blowing smoke. I think it's essential for creators to listen to what the fans are saying, and it shows you how clued on the fans are about certain things. Like you think there's a topic that only you're picking up on, and then you go there and you hear you guys talk about it, and it's reassuring that you're not the only one that feels that way.
Well, like, we have Mo in here, but I would really want to shout I borrow ideas on this. Like, so I don't think a lot of people know, but the fans of CG are probably the greatest bullshit detector. Like, the chat, they cut through bullshit faster than any other group of fans I've seen. And they're inherent, and it's, if you just watch me and Mo and I borrow ideas and just screw off in the chat, you would never guess that, that we're so in tune with stuff. But everybody in the chat, especially on a channel like yours, they're in tune to everything that's going on at Comicsgate.
And you've been on quite a few times as well, George, but it's usually too late for you. I really do like it when you're on there. I'd like you to do your own show, George. I really would.
I don't see that happening. I like helping out, but my own show is not going to happen. But I was there in chat yesterday. It was a lot of fun.
You guys put in a lot of work in different ways. You both help promote creators. You're both in chats. You do live streams. Leroy does the chat. George does the splintering. So you put in a lot of work, and we talked about what you get out of it a little bit, but give me a little bit more. You've made friends. What are some of the benefits of doing so? And because you do it as fans, you don't do it as, oh, I'm going to be a creator in 3 months and I've built up this audience. You do it purely for the love.
That's the only benefit, is making friends and stuff like that. That's it.
I need these books. I'm going to explain as best as I can. I need these books to exist. So I need to see Replicator 3. So I know I give you a hard time about it, but I give you a hard time about it because I like the book that much. So everything I say about it, I'm genuine about, because I want to see the next book happen, and I want to see the universe continue. And I can say the same thing about a lot of other books. Like, how much I like Johnny Phantasm in that universe. How much I like Rage Tality's War in that universe. I'm looking forward to Only Death Can Save Us in a couple of months. There's a lot of things I want to see move on. So me talking about it, spreading the word, one, we'll see that the universe will continue, and two, let's face it, we all like those stretch goals. So the more the book gets funded, the better it is for all of us.
Hmm.
And you guys, like, without Comicsgate, right? I'd still make comics, but you guys actually make it enjoyable. Like, it's fun to come to work every day and hang out with you guys and make comic books and, shoot the shit, talk about whatever we want, and it's just so good. You guys must enjoy that fact as well, because that's why you're still here.
What do you like, George?
I like comic books.
Yes. I put that on a silver platter for you, by the way.
Oh, it's great. It's great. What I really love is someone like the Beanpad, like Amanda. I don't know the Beanpad's history, so I can't talk about it. But we know Amanda's. She was never into comics. She found Fragger's draw, Fragtober, and now she's in here all the time. She's back in books. She's been parts of chat. That's what I like to see. What about you guys? Is that?
I like educating those people. I like saying, "Hey, go look at Green Lantern," or look, go find out why we are where we're at now. Just don't read these books. Go read some of the classics. Go read some Byrne. Go read some Kirby. Whatever. Like, I like to try to get people into comics. I mean, you were talking about how Darren Wagner was on my first show. I think in the back room of that very first show I did, I was explaining to him who Frank Miller was and why he was so important. So, that's the kind of stuff, with the new folks that I like to do.
It must be cool, too, to do that, because what's come before. And to share that with people that have never seen it must be a really cool moment as well. George?
Yeah. One of the things that I like, beyond talking about the classics, is talking to new people about creators that are no longer with us. So maybe they're not just, in current news, but explaining to them, showing them about creators like Alex Toth, or Dave Stevens, just the art, Norm Brayfogle, the art that I liked. Bernie Wrightson's another one, maybe 20, 30 years ago, that inspired me to want to collect comics. Even though these folks aren't creating comics anymore, their work's still alive. So I like showing that stuff off. Rob, you recently were telling me how much you liked Frank Frazetta.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that. He's no longer painting, but his work still lives on.
Yeah. And apparently his daughter is trying to buy back a lot of his work, which is pretty cool.
It's always unique when you have multiple children and how they each perceive what their rights to the estate is. It's tough.
Eric Von Stugel says Leroy ought to school Bancroft and Rob privately. George and I both have tried that. Eric Von Stugel, we've tried that. I think they got halfway through Dark Knight Returns and they went back and started watching more X-Men cartoons. I
don't know. Mo Biggs, tomorrow I'm going to bob Rob's self-esteem into a barren wasteland where no self-doubt can grow with my nuclear praise. That sounds awesome.
Clint Helinski says one of his all-time favorites is Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. He's also one of mine as well.
Everybody's your favorite, George.
Not everybody.
Brayfogel's your favorite, isn't he?
He's up there. He certainly is. He's my favorite Batman artist of all time.
He's my favorite. He is my favorite Batman artist of all time.
Hockey says Rob has such great ideas, like 30 prints in his campaign and hiring Bancroft.
Wow, the Bancroft is a good idea.
Weren't you recommending Prince to someone yesterday, Leroy? I'm pretty sure I heard that come out of your mouth. Yeah, Prince.
Actually, you're right. Because I remember we talked about it in chat yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Because Neff was talking about doing 9 covers on his first campaign. And I'm trying to nicely tell him to don't do that.
GK1, I have all the Brayfogle detective runs. So awesome.
LGK.
Toth, Dave Stevens, Frazetta, Jose Garcia. That's top shelf.
Yeah. And it's fun to talk with people that know just as much for me, just as much as people who don't know about comics. So I don't really have a preference. I like people that are brand new, and I like George. We bonded over Brayfogle. That's the first time we talked. So it doesn't just having people around. I like seeing brand new people. So I was I was helping Shane out with his Comicsgate Presents show yesterday. And there was a brand new person. It's hey, this is the first time in the chat here. And I stopped the show just to shout him out and say, hey, welcome, man. I love seeing new people.
That's really cool too. Cause as a new person, you hear things about what this is and it's not that. So to have someone, reach out and say hello, I think is a big deal. So I always appreciate it when you do that, Leroy. And you do it quite often too. Nuff and is 40 variant covers. Okay.
I think he means Nefarious.
Oh, yep. What else we got here? Trying to line up as many projects as possible to make the transition. Is Joe think about going full-time artist or something like that?
Maybe he's thinking about becoming a woman. He's talking about transitioning.
K Manifesto shouts out George Perez. I heard he's going to be at MegaCon next month, and it's going to be his last ever appearance in Florida. And I know Patrick's going to be there. I know Andy Smith is going to be there. There's going to be a lot of folks from CG there, so you might want to think about heading out.
Are you going to go there, George?
No.
Hockey. Rob is an excellent communicator. He can talk underwater with a mouthful of marbles. That's very unrealistic, Hockey.
That's impressive.
It's funny how some artists see 90s comic art as high tier, but have never heard of gold and silver age artists.
Yes,
I think that the guys. Of course, I like. I'm a DC simp. So Ethan, Shane, Ken, I love all these guys, but they always talk about these classic artists from the silver and gold age. So I don't know what artists he's referring to. That'd be interesting to find out.
I saw a stream with Leroy on it where they were bad mouthing some Golden Age guys and they were laughing it up. And I didn't like it.
Whose stream?
It was on a stream with Leroy.
Yeah, it was Alex Toth.
I did not like it. I told Patrick about it today.
Yeah, he was drawing horses that look like German shepherds. It's a problem. Yeah.
George, if George doesn't like something, he will tell you, which is good, Bionic Brass says Perez is the nicest guy. We met him twice at Dragon Con. Rob speaks English. I thought he was Australian. Eris Saga has one of my favorite trailers in CG history from Mo Biggs. It's good to see everyone here. One thing I wanted to ask you guys, you do a lot for the community. You do get a lot of praise. You're well respected, especially in my eyes.
Well, thanks, man.
Do you get any sort of negativity as well?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. And what's it about, Leroy? Do you have any insight on it?
I think people look, I only have so many hours in the day, and yeah, I'm a fan, so I get to choose what I back, and I get to choose what I talk about. And that's just where I'm at. That's the luxury of being a fan and not a creator. And I think some people get frustrated because I don't maybe get excited with their stuff as much as I do Groken or Sovereign Wolf or whatever it may be. And I get where they're coming from, but that's not on me. I do catch it from time to time. So there you go.
Can we read the hockey one, please?
Robbie's so amazing. He's better than the Last Jedi. Is that a compliment? I don't know if that's a compliment, Hockey. John Malin. Oh my gosh. Oh, jeez, John. Top was ripping off Miller and drew terrible horses. Fact. George is not going to be happy with you, John. Oh, that was a good horse noise. What about you, George? You do the splintering. You write reviews. Do you ever get anyone delivering a hand letter to you saying that they're unhappy with you?
The only time I've ever seen comments about something I wrote for a review, it was anonymous, and it was very clearly it was the campaign owner.
Oh, wow.
So I was very, I just acted like I didn't know who it was, but it gave him very clear responses to all of his supposed points. Yes. I'm not having it.
Did you time out Malin, George? Oh
Yes.
my gosh. Wow. So just the one time. Leroy, when people do come at you with complaints about whatever it is, and I know it's happened multiple times, does it make you want to just go, F this, I'm done?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Because like you guys are fans, and to me, you're both off limits. Like as a creator, like it can't, the only way I would say something negative is if you're actively trying to hurt my business or spreading lies, which you would never do. So you
Let me
muted
tell
George.
you what a nice guy George is, though. Like you're talking about the negative, and there's that, but there's also every day when I wake up on Sunday morning, I have a text saying, "Hey, I watched your show; it was really good." Like, and that's from George, by the way. Like, and I get that too. So it's not. I think we're focusing on the bad right now. I don't really want to do that.
Do you think, though, I have to ask, if I was to read one of your books and write a review and it wasn't a good review, would you think that would hurt your business?
No, I think that's fair.
Okay.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but it's a review. It's out there for criticism. You got to take it for what it is. Actively trying to hurt the business is, spreading lies or, but just putting a single review out there and that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
I borrow ideas. Rob hurts himself every time he looks in the mirror.
Looks like CryptoKen's not a fan.
Oof. A dull or tiresome person. Now, does that sound like Rob? Hardly. Mel's calling you out, Leroy. She says,
"Yeah, she doesn't have time to be complaining about me. She's got a sketch to be done."
I'm with Mel on this one.
Really? I sent a formal complaint to Leroy about his double standard about lettuce. I think Leroy's stance on lettuce is pretty accurate.
It's all about the ratio of meat to lettuce.
I know, like
when your drink has vegetables in it, there's no way I'm voting for you.
But you're not drinking the vegetables, George. They're just
it's not called Drink Saturday. It's called Sandwich Saturday.
If it's in the picture and part of the presentation, it's part of the voting process.
Calm down, Rain Man. Calm down.
No, I'm with George. You were trying to hijack that vote, Leroy. So you were going, everyone vote for Roquefort. He's clearly got the best sandwich.
But here's the thing. I was very disappointed in the women this week. Very disappointed. We had Amanda try to pass off a prosciutto with salad dressing as a Reuben. And I don't even know what Vanessa was doing. Some kind of hippie omelet sandwich? Come on, ladies, do better. Mel would have won if she entered.
Mel would have won? I don't know about that. That's a bold statement. Rob's eyes sparkle like a nicely clean toilet bowl. Oh, hockey. You have to talk so nice to me. Drinks should only have ice in them. Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
Joe Rose says Kenneth did have the best sandwich, though. That is correct.
No.
Even if you did, Leroy, you were trying to tell people how to vote, and that's not good.
Are you bitching about a fan about a fan run stream right now, Rob? You know how that makes me feel?
Bancroft had Ethan on his show this week. That was
barely.
Did you catch that one, George?
I did. He had Ethan, he had Kenneth, he had Leroy, he had Amanda, he had Joe, he had Lord Crackhead. He had quite a few guests.
How did he go?
It went great. I mean, very clearly he wasn't worried at all and was dressed for the occasion. It was a great show.
Oh, very good. And what's happening in chat? What is news down there? Let's have a look. George is right. George is always right. I
No.
stand with
No,
Mel.
that's not true.
He's right like 80% of the time.
That's actually more than I thought you were going to say.
Well, that's because 80% of the time you usually agree with me, George.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Zayd said Phil had Ethan on his show this week. You did.
Phil who?
Phil Diaz.
Oh.
He's talking about himself.
Third person.
Yes. Rob's beard is so manly he wouldn't be allowed in ZZ Top. George made the right sandwich choice.
You know who ZZ Top is, Rob?
Yeah, they're the band, aren't they?
Good. Yeah, very good. A little trivia for you.
ZZ Top is a Mark Silvestri comic book, Rob.
A little trivia for you. There's 3 members of ZZ Top. 2 of them have a beard. The one that doesn't, his last name is Beard.
Too much inside baseball for Reed Troutman.
Oh, sorry.
I'm a lurker. I understand about 60% of what you guys are talking about. So do I, and I've been here the whole time. So Rob is so wonderfully. He makes Mary Poppins look like a member of the Crack Pack. Ethan, did Ethan shut that down? He did, didn't he? He's like, no, I'm not. Did he say that? Who was that? That said, no, I'm not.
That was
Crack Pack.
Ethan.
It was Ethan, yeah. So there you go. Metagraphia, it was just one lettuce leaf in a good angle.
See, I told you, it's all about that. I told everybody it was one piece of lettuce. They're like, oh, it had like a whole head of lettuce on it.
And tomato and cucumbers in the glass.
I didn't care what was in the glass.
If you didn't care what was in the glass, you should have cropped out the glass then.
I didn't make the picture. Rocafort did. Your man's in the chat. Yell at him, George.
If he said he's not Crack Pack, you can't blame him. His exposure has probably been Bancroft's propaganda PSA. How are you guys feeling about all the comic books you've got delivered so far this year? Do you think the year is going well for CG?
Is that stepping on the toes of what we're going to be talking about later this week, Leroy?
No.
I like what I've gotten. But I was expecting more.
Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit, George?
Well, I thought I would have Replicator by now.
Yep.
And there was 2 other books from Australia I was expecting by now as well. And that's just one country.
So Australia is letting everyone down, is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
they're not the only ones though.
It's just like the same. It's like every Olympics. Australia always lets you down.
But the ones I got, I'm very happy with.
Any standouts that you want to mention?
I don't know if I'm ready to say book of the year yet. Obviously, the last one I read is Sovereign Wolf. Really enjoyed that. My favorite, I think. My favorite, I think, has been Only Death Can Save Us, only because Leroy said to me, I think you should back this. I think you will like it. And it meant a lot to me that he knew my taste well enough to recommend it, and as much as I did like it. So that one really stands out in my head as well.
That has been doing really well.
Only Death Can Save Us?
Yeah. Everyone that gets it says they love it, don't they, Leroy?
Yeah, it's a really good book. It's my favorite book so far this year as well. So
I'm not ready to say that, but it was very good.
Well, I mean, I have all the books I had so far this year, and I can't say it's my favorite book so far this year. Now, I mean, we got some big books coming still, so
and you've got a lot of books too, Leroy. Was it you that started the CG for Phil's? Or was it
no, that was Bancroft. Yeah, it was everything is always Bancroft's idea, Rob. Everything.
That's right.
Yeah.
Even if you did it yourself. How much did I like Replicator 1 and 2? I'm sitting here pretending Australia is a real country, ain't I? Yes, thank you. I agree. Aussies could be doing better with their books. I can't believe we're all delayed. Yeah, it's very frustrating. And you make preparations and you give yourself adequate time and you run into problems that take a lot longer than what they should do. And I'm like I said to you, George, I'm at the point now where I want to get the books done before I launch. Whether that's possible or not, I don't know. I think it is, but that's where I want to head.
That would be
Leroy?
great.
I think. Wait, say what you said again. Say it again, Rob.
I want to get to the point where I have the books ready before I launch.
Well, I don't know if that everybody needs to do that. Like, I don't feel like everybody's going to. I don't think we'll ever get to a point where everybody has every page
That's not
drawn.
what he's saying.
What's he saying then?
He's saying he needs to be ready. He'll be on his 4th book for that series. That's very different from a new creator launching 1 book. If he'll be on his 4th book, at this point he's built up enough.
I don't want to talk about Rob because I see little inside stuff of how Rob does stuff. So like, I don't want to talk. Like Rob, I would just say to you, like, there's still growth for you as a creator. You know, like some of this was in your control and some of it wasn't out of your control. Why you're going to be late, and you know, I just don't want to get into that on stream.
Yeah, I mean, there's growth for everyone, and this is my 3rd book. Like, I think you know, we don't realize where a lot of these creators are at the specific moment. Like, this is my 3rd book ever created, and it is late. It's only just late, but it is late regardless. But I mean, even people like Ethan can still improve. Like, there's growth for everyone. I mean, he's already at such a high level, but everyone else can improve everything they do dramatically, I think. And I think we're starting to see that. Would you agree, George, that?
Yeah, well, sorry, George, but like the books this year, George, wouldn't you agree? Like this year are so much better than the books we got last year. Like that's a fact.
Exactly what I was going to ask, Leroy. That's good. That's what we all want to see, and I think we've talked about this before, but CG is going in a good direction. It's heading the right way. It's not going the wrong way.
The biggest stinker, George, we've gotten this year, I feel like, wasn't even a CG book.
Agreed.
It was just an independent book we both ended up backing, but it really made me appreciate the creators out in CG and how much better they're getting. When I read that book, I'm like, this is crap. Holy crap, the CG guys are getting a lot better. Because that's that kind of book was like what we would have got a year and a half ago in the mail, and we just would have been like, ugh. But not anymore.
So you go ahead, read that one, Rob, because I got something to say about it. Go ahead,
just don't set a delivery date.
That's not good enough. Because campaigns that I backed April of 2020 that may not deliver even through 2021, to me, even though there's no date set, are late. Because the interest starts to wane. So you shouldn't be taking 2 years to deliver this book to me, unless you don't want me to back the next one.
Yeah, I think for me, and this is for me only, Eric can do that because he's working so much on other people's books that he can only do his book at a certain time. I'm happy to wait for that for me personally.
I think Eric does it right because he shows art all the time. You know, like, so it is cool to see new art. And not everybody does that. You don't see the slow. Eric's very good at giving that slow drip of this is what I'm working on. Check it out. Check this out. And I don't know if George sees all that necessarily all the time.
I'm on Twitch.
I don't know if George cares, but I mean, as for where I'm at, engaged on Twitter and Twitch, like George said, I see that slow drip of art from Eric, and it does keep me engaged, I guess is the best way to put it.
And don't get me wrong, like when I say that I want to get my books done before launch, I don't expect like new creators to do that either, right? I think it's different. Once you start getting into 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, it changes. You have to change. Like you can't do what you're doing on issue 1. You can't have 5 pages or whatever it is in a cover and then get it funded and then start the process because it just takes too much time. Like George says this all the time. Like, what do you say, George, about you have a certain amount of time?
Say no to drugs. Oh, no.
Yeah.
You have a certain amount of time for people to keep interested in your product.
Yes.
But George, let me ask you this though.
Mhm.
Like, because Ethan takes a while to put out books. Like, we
Mhm.
know that. We've known that since DC, though. Like,
Mhm.
this is nothing new to us. But,
Mhm.
like, how easy it is to stay? How easy is it to stay engaged with Ethan? You're not on Twitter, but I share every page he releases. I text it to you, and we like, oh, this is so cool. Is it? Do you stay engaged? Does that he'll help you stay engaged with what's going on in Cyberfrog?
I don't think I'm not going to see this book. Like, that's not my concern. My concern is my interest going to be there? My concern is, will I be alive by the time this story arc ends? Like, and as funny as that may sound for all the old jokes that might be coming, that's a true thing. Like, if you're working on a 48-page book and it takes 2 years and it's part 1 of 4, you're talking about 8 years for a story to get done. What if it's part 1 of 32 and it's taking you 2 years? Like, you got to get these things out faster. You got to find a way, whatever it's going to take. I'm not saying do it every 6 months. Do what you got to do. But just saying I'm not going to set a delivery date is just not enough for me.
We have 50 people in the chat. If you can please hit like and subscribe, that'd be awesome. We're trying to hit 500 subs. When we do, I have to wear a helmet on my head for a week. Leroy, do you want to explain why that is?
No, I forget why, but it's going to be hilarious.
It's because whenever I go outside, my wife makes me wear a helmet for my own safety and the protection of other people.
Well,
So
I know that,
why.
but I don't know why you have to wear it in the house now. All of a sudden, I forget why.
You know, ninjas, I guess.
Oh, okay.
GK1, if you can show me updates and take ownership of the delay, you get a pass. If your book shows up 3 years later, I'll pass no matter how good it is. Yeah. So you're saying if it's 3 years late, it's no good for him. Here's a question for you guys. When a book is late, what do you want to hear from the creator?
When it's going to be ready and where they're at right now.
Mm-hmm. Leroy?
Yeah, like, and I would suggest if you're like late on a book, like late, you give an update at the beginning of every. If you're on YouTube, you give a quick update before every stream you kick off. Like, that's how important it is. Like, it there's different severity of lateness, George, I guess.
Mm-hmm,
like,
absolutely.
But if you're like a year late and you're going to fire up a stream, I would spend the first 5 minutes saying, "Hey, this is where we're at this week," kind of thing.
And don't forget, I've said this before, people didn't back your book on YouTube. They backed it on Indiegogo. Give those updates on Indiegogo too.
This is for me as well. Like, this is my personal preference. All I want to hear is, "I'm sorry, we're late. It's it's my fault. It's my responsibility. This is where we're at, and this is what we're working on." I don't really care about anything else. I don't want to hear excuses. I mean, you can tell me why it's happened, but as long as you take responsibility for it, then that's fine. What about you guys in the chat? What do you want to hear from creators when they're late? Leroy, you got something to say there?
No, Joe said, I disagree. The art and the story is incredible. I'll wait as long as it takes, but it has to be some groundbreaking shit. Joe, like, I've just seen so much apathy set in on long campaigns that I think you're the exception to the rule, like, on that.
We'll get back to what the chat's saying in a second. One thing that Shane has said that has kind of stuck with me is like the sign up page, how long you have that up for. People kind of think 6 months is what you do. That's what I did. Actually went longer than 6 months, lost my list, got it back. But he makes a very valid point in the fact that if it's 6 months, you've got to keep those people interested for that time and then keep them interested for the additional 2 months of the campaign. It's too long. Do you agree?
There's no harm in talking about your campaign early, just saying, hey, this will be the next one I'm going to do. But 6 months for the sign up is a long time. Now, Rob, in your defense, if I remember correctly, It wasn't going to be 6 months, but there were some circumstances that came up that said, well, I'm going to delay my launch for a couple of months, which led to your 6-month time frame. Right? I'm correct on that?
I think so, but I just don't remember.
Okay. But 3 months is plenty. I don't think there's a set time frame. But yeah, like eventually people's interest will start to wane.
There's kind of interesting things where Clayton said you got to keep them interested, and I agree with him. I agree with Clayton 100%. But then Pete Callan says something I agree with. The more interest I'm in the product, the more irked the later it gets. It's a double-edged sword, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
How many times have I said that to you, Rob?
Many times.
Beanpad said, ever had a book that's so good you forgive the tardiness? Blood Honey.
I want to shout out Pete Callan real quick too, because he's been around the channels we frequent lately, and he's been.
Where is he? I can't see him.
He's been great. It's been great having him around. So
I can't see him in the chat.
Pete Callan.
Yeah. Is he below this?
PETECALLAN.
So I understand what his name is. I can't see his
Callan.
I don't see him either.
I don't see him. Yeah.
I read it.
And Antonio took a year to deliver my book after he had it in hand. That's crazy. Just be transparent. EVS said in a stream he was looking at December for Wreck Planet, was worried about the PVCs delaying that. He's still drawing the book in July. Bummer. Rob has such a great fashion sense. Lady Gaga came to him for ideas.
That makes no sense, though.
Hockey's on fire today.
I want to hear Rob say mea culpa for the accent. How's that?
You have to say oi before you say it, though.
Oi. I want creators to keep me excited, remind me that it's still coming, and that when it comes, it'll be worth the wait.
So yeah, I would agree with that. But then Pete has something after that I agreed with when he's like, "Well, the more interested I am, the later it is, the more I get pissed off." So it's like I said, it's a double-edged sword, right?
Jason Black says, "I don't know if we need apologies. Apologies are cheap. Make an opportunity to show off the work and create more investment." What do you think about that, George? Do you want an apology?
I want a book. That's what I want.
Rob, how do you all not save the list? Yeah, well, let's not get into it again. 3 to 4 might be better. Pete Callan, the more interested in a product, the more irked I get, the later it is.
That's correct.
Who said that?
Pete Callan, there.
Oh, okay.
Blame the fans, like Mo said. It would have been done by now if your fans were more gooder. Rob's artwork is so good, he refused to draw because he doesn't want everyone else to quit. Oh, and humble too. You guys are so nice. Jaro says, just maintain transparency. At least give the backers an update every month on Indiegogo. Now, George, you are a huge proponent of updates.
Now, for every time I say that, you can hear someone else in the chat say, I don't want to see any updates. But yes, to me, if you don't want to see the update, just don't look at them. But if you want to see updates and they're not there, what can you possibly do? Oh, Joe.
Eric Kennedy's in the house. Looking forward to Arc Athena. I want an apology from Rob for this stream. Thanks, mate. That's
Joe's going to be serenading you on his next campaign.
Hold on. Kenneth Rocafort says, as a creator, I don't feel appropriate said my opinion of current situation, and it's awesome how Leroy, George, Vanessa, and Crackhead and more of the chat talk and analyze the themes. Kudos to all.
Oh, thank you, Kenneth.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, having access to the fans, to you guys, to get feedback, to bounce ideas off, to tell us what you do and do not want is invaluable. Like, you know, I was on Kickstarter screaming into the wind to get someone to look at my book. You guys are here. I can talk to you. You can tell me what you like, what you don't like.
I Borrow Idea says once a book passes the 1-year mark, they go to the back of the line in terms of ever backing again. Very few exceptions.
How do you feel about that, George?
I understand what he's saying.
Yeah, but how do you feel about it?
I'm not saying if a book is more than a year overdue, I wouldn't back it again, but it definitely goes to the back of the line.
And that's something else to consider as a creator. Like, if you do something that George or someone else doesn't agree with, they just won't back you again. that's it. It's kind of one and done. Like if you discount your books during the campaign, that's not going to go down well. I don't want updates that tell me a story of their life or jokes. Yeah, man. I'm right with you there. Get over it. Just tell me what's happening with the book. I don't want to. It's got to keep it quick, simple.
You experimented with video updates for a little bit, Rob, then you got out of that habit.
Yeah, I like those video updates.
I should do them again. They're good. I really like them because it's easier to get across all the information you need to get across.
That was a great idea about those video updates, Rob. I'm glad you came up with that.
I thought Leroy came up with it.
No, it wasn't me.
Kyung Lee came up with it. And I stole it from him.
There you go. At least you admit it, unlike somebody else we know.
Would that be Michael Bancroft?
I didn't say that. You said that.
We try to give progress updates every 3 days. That's too often for me. Once a week, George. Once a month.
As long as I see them.
Video replies are great. Remember Edwin Boyette on Twitter?
Oh, yes, Ethan. We all remember.
I want to see that. What's that? I think that the exception to that is if clearly stated that it's going to be on a set date after a year, I buy the condition it's going to be a year and 2 months from now, so no complaints. That's gone over my head. Vanessa, you'll have to play the video back and see where Ethan says he loves you. He didn't clarify whether it was normal V or furious V, so we're not sure about that. You can clarify that for us, Ethan. That'd be great. I Borrow Ideas says twice a month updates is fine with me. Antoine Dennison is if the book is uber late, I'll wait until the next one is done before I part with my cash.
I was disappointed in Anton real quick, by the way. Shane had that Comicsgate stream where he had a lot of people on, like, to talk about their mailing list or their campaigns. I wanted to see Antoine on.
Yeah, where were you, Antoine?
He needs to be more engaged on Twitter and put his campaigns up for those when Malin or Shane call out those streams. Do work, Antoine.
Yikes. George,
you and I have rules about how and what we back. Like, what are some of your rules? Like, you'll only back a creator if they have one campaign fulfilled prior.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know, all those kind of things.
One of my big ones is I won't back more than 2 in a row without getting one. So I can have 2 open campaigns, but I won't back the third one until I get one of the other 2. That's a big one for me. There's ones now I really want to back, and I can't because I'm waiting for one of the other 2.
Give the example, George. Tell us the best
example.
No,
that's okay. No. You know what they are.
I've seen Vanessa go off on your boy. Loved it. Yeah, that was epic. Kick EVS. Oh, geez. Leroy, do you have any of those same sort of rules? And chat, do you guys have any kind of rules?
It depends on the trust with the creator. For me, I understand George's role, but like somebody like Ethan who's fulfilled, I mean, I don't know how many books or campaigns, warts and all, Unforgettable Tales, Blood Honey. I've ordered stuff from his Amazon store and got it. Always comes like 2 days. Like, I don't mind backing multiple campaigns. Patrick's another one. I feel like I'm going to get the stuff. But if it's a first-time creator, no. Like, it's a case-by-case basis on the individual creator themselves.
George, very happy. The Phillies won, did they, George?
They won twice. They had a game yesterday that ended delayed because of rain. So they resumed it today and won that, and then they played their following game and won that as well.
I don't get baseball. How many games did they play?
162.
That a boy. Get them.
In a year?
Yeah.
Plus playoffs, yep.
Wow. That's crazy.
Not if you're the Royals or the Pirates. You don't have that playoff schedule.
Eric McIntyre, I have a rule. If you do not engage with us frequently, I will not back your book. I've heard many people say that.
Well, there's people like Jim that just flat up to refuse, like, to back people unless. Well, I think he's softened on it, but it used to be his rule. If you don't come on Bancroft's show, he's not going to back you.
I've seen Jim saying, if you're not Comicsgate lately, I'm not going to back you. So maybe he has softened a little bit on that. He's given it more of a general. For Aussies, books turn up like 3 months after they're fulfilled, so you wonder if your copy is even in the mail. Then one day you get a pleasant surprise on your doorstep. Yeah, it does take
You don't get
a long
tracking?
time. Yeah, we do, but it takes so long to get here. It's stupid. Do you guys have problems with CG creators simultaneously working on non-CG side projects?
As long as
George?
that's not what's slowing down their book.
Yeah,
Because
there's only one person really that and I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, not really. No, not generally. Actually, I get excited, George. Don't you? When you see like maybe Shelby's doing a cover for this book, or Rocafort doing a cover for this book.
Don't you know one of the reasons why I backed the Graveyard Shift campaign was because Rob's story was in the supplemental.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. That's cool. We had the editor pop in one of the chats. He said he really liked the story, so I'm really excited for it.
Nice.
Actually, it's really cool. I borrow ideas. Shilling your book in the chat is not the same as interacting with the chat. Yes. That's what we always say, don't we, Leroy?
Yes.
And
even look, even people like Ethan and Kenneth are in here interacting with the chat, talking amongst each other. You know what I mean? Like, if they can do it, there's no reason. Like, they're setting the example right now. You know, like, follow what they're doing. You know, they're doing it. You can do it too.
Bancroft did a good post. You know, it's not new information, but it doesn't hurt to say it every single time. Go to the chats, hang out in the chats, make friends with people in the chat. You know, have a good time. Insult creators. It's fun. You know, when you guys do it to me, I enjoy it most of the time. And then if you have a book, you know, wait 3, 4, 5 months, and then tell people you got a book. There's a really good tweet from Bancroft on it. Go check it out on Twitter.
There's a guy too, a first-time creator in the chat that did it perfectly. Joe Cutapon, I want to shout him out. He was coming into the chat well before he released his book. I don't think for the first couple of weeks I noticed him around. I hadn't even heard about Star Circuit. Like, he really did it right. Joe did. So
I really like Aerith Saga too. Like, he kind of came in a little bit out of nowhere, but he's in all the chats. He's interacting. He's super chatting people. He's commenting. He's getting on streams. Like, I think, you know, he probably did it a lot faster than what we'd advise, but I think he's done a good job of it. So, you know, give you a shout out there. Congrats, Rob. That's awesome. Please ignite. Do not come. It's Ethan's show, not mine. Rob is welcome. He always says hello to everyone without question. Did the skip thing. Seeing creators blame other creators for the failures makes it easier to never back them.
I don't know if I've seen that happen.
I can think of one example. Yes, I can think of one specific example of what he's actually talking about.
I don't think it can be overstated enough. The amount of enthusiasm fans get, at least George and I know Amanda and Vanessa and the rest of us, when we see creators working with each other together, like, hey, you know, like helping each other out or whatever, like, that's really cool to see. And it really makes me more apt to get behind somebody when that's going on.
Von Stugel says CG creators working on non-CG books is a good chance to get more people over here. Yeah.
I've heard that from lots of folks. I've heard you talking about it, Rob. I've heard say like, oh, I'm going to try and make this toy because I'm trying to get toy people over here. I'm trying to make this wrestling thing because I want to get wrestling people over here. Yeah. Do you think that I'm genuinely asking, I don't know. Do you think that really does indeed work? Do you think like 2% of the time folks will come over and discover things? Like, do you think it's a good plan? I don't know. I'm truly asking.
Yeah, I do. I don't think it's something you can really measure, though. The way I see it, George, and this may be wrong, like, comics were massive in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And all the people have since gone, the majority of the people have gone away. And they might not know about Comicsgate, but because they might not like the mainstream books anymore because it's Batman, it's Superman, it's the same stuff over and over again. And if they just knew about Comicsgate and that people were creating, new books, it might rekindle that flame they once had for the comics that they loved. Like, how did you find out about Comicsgate, George? Like, how did you know? Ethan.
Mhm. Yeah, I've been a fan of his for years. So yeah, it was Ethan.
So I do think there is something to it. Vanessa says, I've seen it work bringing in a new audience to a different field.
We saw it happen, right, Leroy? We were on your closeout for Groken, and there was someone that came in and said, this is the first Comicsgate book I ever backed. Yeah. And when it happens, it's exciting. I'm not going to deny it. I just don't know. And I'm not saying don't do it. I just don't know all the work you're putting into it. Is it worth what you're getting in?
It happened the other night on a Shane Davis stream. The guys had been watching Shane Davis's videos, short videos, believe it or not. And he popped into the Shane Davis stream. He's like, this is my first time here. I backed everybody's book on this panel. Like, it's really cool when that happens. But yeah, we want us to bring more people. Eric wants to bring the furries over here. We disavow that, of course. Like,
I found out about CG with John Malin and EVS. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's worth it, George, for sure.
Cool.
Because like, if everyone just does comic book stuff, like, how are we going to get more people in? We've got to go into different fields eventually.
But that's what I'm concerned about. My concern is the long-term health of comic books. Like, I'm not trying to disrespect or be smart, but like, I don't really care too much about toys and the other stuff. Like, I want the comic books to survive. That's what's struggling right now. I don't know what toy sales are now compared to what they were 20 years ago, or video games or manga. I have no idea. But I know comic books are struggling. That's what I need to see kind of go on. I like comic books too.
Yeah, I just think that the majority of people in CG are doing comic book related stuff, which makes sense, right? And I don't think there are many people that are actually reaching outside of comic books. So I don't think it affected too much, George. Check comment above, Rob. Reaching out is actually really important. There are lots of former comic book fans that could be brought back. Yeah, that's where I'm kind of coming from, but Eric explains it better in a sentence than I do. We've got 55 people in here. We're going to wrap it up. We do an hour here, so please make sure you hit like, you hit subscribe. Tomorrow is Rob-teenth, where people are nice to me for a full day. As you may or may not know, I cop a lot of abuse, via text form on the chat. I'm timed out wherever I go if I'm not protected by a wrench. So come hang out. We're going to be on Bancrofts about 3 hours earlier than now. So make sure you come and check us out. And chat, do you have any final words you want to say? Any comments you want me to read? Please let me know. George, any final words?
Make sure you hit like and subscribe. When we get Rob to 500 subscribers, he's going to wear a helmet for a week.
Leroy?
Yeah, I'd say what I used to say, but you stole it, so go ahead and say it.
Back a comic book. It doesn't have to be Replicator, but if it is, great. But go and back something. There are many, many great books out there, and everyone always needs support. So go back something. Michael says Rob-teenth starts at 5:30 p.m. I'd say that's Eastern Standard Time on my channel. Shelby's in the house. Why you seem nice? Why do they abuse you? I don't know, George. Do you have the answer?
Rob posted a meme just about an hour ago, and it could be questionable if it's even a meme, much less funny.
It's funny.
No, it wasn't.
It is funny. Amanda can make the time. I'm really excited to see you guys tomorrow. It's going to be fun. Antoine, chuck your link in the chat. You have a mod now for Red Empires. We're going to wrap it up there. Thank you all so much. We'll see you next week. Bye.